You know, as alien as this place is, there's something very Eggman-ish about it.
I think he's transforming it somehow, making it part of his theme park.
Attention guests, if you can hear this message, you are trespassing in an area still under renovation. If you are not a robot, please return to the main park areas and ignore anything evil you might have seen here. Thank you.
It looks like the theme of his park is universal domination and the conquest of alien races.
It's more than a theme, it's a reality. He's using them like some kind of living intergalactic gasoline.
That's pretty low, even for a sleazeball like Eggman.
Some displacement of indigenous aliens and destruction of natural resources may occur. Eggman Enterprises not responsible.
You getting any of that?
Yeah, they're totally freaked out. It sounds like they're in shock because of public transportation and a loony nurse. Oh no, wait, scratch that. They're in shock because of their planet's strange transformation and having been dragged across the universe.
Well, I still can't believe he kidnapped a whole planet. How did somebody do that?
They're saying it was either ice cream or a tractor beam.
Yeah, well, I'm going to guess it wasn't ice cream shooting out of those generators.
If it was, I would get one for back home.
Dude, I'd get two. Now, if everyone will excuse me, I'm going to put a stop to these renovations.
Please note, any mutant powers gained from riding the attractions here at the park are the express property of Eggman Industries and must be used in the service of Eggman and his schemes.
Hello everyone and welcome back to more Sonic Colors and the Nintendo Wii. And in this episode we're going to be finishing off Planet Wisp by going through Act 5, 6 and then taking on the boss. First off though, I would like to talk about a thing that I mentioned in the last episode, where I talked about the stage design not being linked. In other words, when you finish a level, the next one that you go on to after that, there's no correlation for where you previously were or anything. I know this doesn't really matter too much though, considering that even in the Genesis days, it wasn't exactly like that for 1 and 2. The different side though is when Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles came out, or in this case, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles for the complete package. Because when you finished Angel Island at 1, it did actually carry on after that and then showed you how you suddenly got to Hydro City. Whereas with Colors, this kind of lacks. And at least in the Genesis days, it was literally only 2 acts and you would move on to a new world, but Sonic Colors has 6. 6 acts. And then when you try to end them at the end, you just suddenly appear in this odd location, which makes no sense if you ask me. I feel like probably what they should have done is make the goal ring end, and then allow us to carry on immediately from there. One of them does actually do this on Planet Wisp, and I believe it's when you clear Act number 2 and then go on to Act number 3. Because that one actually makes sense. Because when I slide under the fin, then go to the goal ring, Act 3 then continues from that and then leads on to a 3D section where I speed through it. So there is that in places. There's nothing really hugely disappointing about the game, I just wanted to throw it out there, and it does not really make me feel negative about it. Another thing I'm also going to talk about is the PAs. I'm just giving you a heads up. I know I said this last time, but the PAs in this episode are literally going to be from Starlight Carnival, since Planet Wisp doesn't have any. Or it does, but they only appear on the cutscenes, not actually through the levels themselves. So I hope you appreciate some of the things that Eggman's gonna say for the Starlight Carnival side of ones.
Attention! The muscle atrophy simulation will not be open today. We apologize for the inconvenience, but we were not able to find the strength to open it.
Alright, on to Act number 6, where we kick it off immediately with a grind rail section in 3D. A great presentation on this one. Except, okay, I feel like with a lot of players, this act is the hardest one ever to find all of the red rings. Why? Because literally the very first one is on this bottomless pit. Yes. The bit where you have to home and attack on those enemies, no, you literally have to fall down there, free fall, get the red ring like this, and then land on the rail. It's a bit bizarre really, but I do find that at least once you do find it, because of how bizarrely placed it does stick in your mind. So there is that, I guess. I'm also going to be going a bit more over the scripting of this game. I did mention about this last time as well, but I felt that I only brushed over it. I'm going to go a bit more in depth with it, because also, I've not really got too much to say during this whole act, so I've got to find something to talk about, I guess. The cutscene that we saw at the very beginning is kind of evident on why I don't really like what they've done to the characters of Sonic and Tails. As you saw at the very beginning, when it started, they were all quite serious with what Eggman was doing, when even Sonic mentioned that's pretty low, even for a sleazeball like Eggman. You're like, oh cool, so they know that this is serious and all that. And then out of nowhere, suddenly later on, they move on to jokes about ice cream generators and saying like, oh, I totally get one back home, and it just breaks the mood, you know? I'm kind of like, what personality are they going for with these two? Are they determined to take down Eggman? Or are they rather casual and joking about it? I don't know why, but just for me, it just rubs me the wrong way. One of the more worst cutscenes though has to be the one where, after you defeat the Tropical Resort boss, the one where they mention about underwear worn by salad and all sorts. You see, that's the part where the writing comes off to me as more of a sitcom. And I don't think it really works for a Sonic game side of things, especially one where we're trying to put a stop to Eggman, you know? Things should be a little bit more seriously taken in places. So that's just how I feel anyway. Now, Eggman, Orbot and Cubot are perfectly fine. Because throughout the whole entire game, there's not one part where I'm like, yeah, that's very out of character for Eggman for what he's previously been and everything. And Cubot is the dumb one. Orbot is the more smarter one. And that gives me a very strong vibe, actually, of Ed, Edd and Eddy, which is a really good character build. But that's the problem. There's no character build, really, with Sonic and Tails. One minute they're serious, the next they're joking all about it, and it really rubs me the wrong way. I feel like I'm the only one that feels about this with the writing, not to mention that some of the jokes are a little bit too childish in my books. There is one joke, though, that we'll find in this episode, and it's literally after we beat the boss, which actually, that makes sense. The way it's delivered and everything, and they don't hold on to it, makes it funny in my book. I guess to me also it's just not my type of humour, but there you go. There's my rant on how I feel about the writing. But to tell you the truth, it's not even finished. I could go on more and more with examples and evidence and comparisons. But I'm going to let you decide on that, so if you could let me know in the comments below if you want to hear more about how I feel with the scripting and writing the colours, then yeah, let me know down below. I will go on more about it if you want. Anyway, on to the boss.
Attention guests. If there is anyone here who has experience with aerospace technology, specifically upper orbit theme park gravitational control systems, please report to the main office immediately. Thank you.
And there's the generator. It seems like these guys are getting harder and harder to find. I know for a fact these guys are getting harder and harder to beat.
Please remember, all planets in Eggman's incredible interstellar amusement park are, as far as you know, wholly owned properties of Eggman Enterprises and its subsidiaries. All unauthorized photography, video reproduction, or shutting down of generators is strictly prohibited. Thank you.
Eggman, I am going to save this planet, and I am going to free these aliens. No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me. We can save a lot of time and broken robots if you just quit now. You try to be reasonable.
Okay, I'll admit, the copyright law joke was pretty gold. It gets me good. Alright, this is the Refreshinator. Have a guess what this one's pretty similar to that we've seen before in the game. Yeah, and if anything, this one is a lot easier than the Tropical Resort one. Because literally 2 homing attacks from the Spike Wisp, and that's it, it's done. In my opinion, this boss fight is pretty boring. Mainly just because there's not much strategy involved. Even doing it the normal route is not that different. The normal route involves you homing attacking it 3 times, I think, in the center, but you're still doing the same thing with the spikes, so what's different? At least with Captain Jelly and Sweet Mountain, the faster route was drilling. So it did feel different and felt more satisfying that way. How can I get satisfaction if it's literally doing the same thing? Anyway, on to the cutscene.
Wow, sometimes I even impress myself. For a second there, I wasn't sure I was going to pull it off. Oh, who am I kidding? We both knew how this would end.
Are you talking to the broken robot who can't hear you?
Maybe. That's between me and the robot. See, the important thing here is the alien planet is free.
Absolutely.
So, we can just forget about the whole talking to dead robots thing, right?
Nope.
I knew you'd say that.
Oh, come on. I've seen you save the day a lot of times, but I've never seen you talk to a pile of metal.
Touché.
And that's it for Planet Wisp. So join me next time as we go through Aquarium Park, and I remember when I first got to this area, oh man, was it so pretty. Except my opinions are slightly mixed on each act, so get ready to hear about those. Take care guys, I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next episode of Sonic Colors.